perfect. You want to be that guy?
Wow.
Oh, wow. Good morning. Welcome to Decentralized TV, Crypto and Coffee. I'm your host, the Data Lord, and we drink about coffee. We talk about crypto. And you might be wondering, where's Jaime? Well, Jaime is on a family vacation right now. So cheers to Jaime. Hope he's doing well. And good morning to all of you beautiful people. So hope your coffee is lit. Hope this morning is focused and ready to go. And I'm here to hang out with you to start this morning off right. So what's up to Indo? I see you, boy. What up? What up? Another week to knock out. Hope you all scooped some cheaper BTC. Yeah, it was cheaper. We had a 26 position in Just Bossy. What's up, girl? I see you. So let's get into the markets, shall we? Also, if you're lurking in the chat or lurking on the show, just go ahead and say what's up in the chat. We'll give you a shout out, because I love to say what's up. So let's look at the markets. Bitcoin is up 2%, right? We had a little bit of a drawback. You can see over here in this, red price action, kind of had like a cup shape that formed. Ethereum copied the same thing, up 1.1%. But really, the star of the show is Litecoin. And look, I keep telling you guys, I'm giving you guys hints. I can't give you financial advice, but I can tell you there's some news around Litecoin that you should be paying attention to. So Litecoin at a 6.3% move in the last 24 hours. And again, the halving for Litecoin is coming up here quickly. So Dogecoin, I want us to also pay attention to that. Now, let's look at some of the bigger charts. You look at Bitcoin here, right? These are days. So we're on this like precipice right here, right? We're holding the line at 26.7. You can clearly see there's like a support being formed here, but I don't know if we punch below that or if we go a bit higher. Jaime has fundamentals that look at more of the longer term, but I'm looking more so at black swan events, things that will happen based upon maybe altcoin movements, and then Bitcoin just simply responds to it because of traders. And so, yeah, we're paying attention to Bitcoin, seeing if it can hold this 26 level. Over here we have like 29 as the bottoms on that, and then we reduced lower to like 26, and then right over here we have this tiny little floor that set the precedent for like 24K, and we've peaked above that a few times. So that's kind of the range I'm expecting us to be trading in, is like wicks as low as 23, but spikes probably right around 28. We haven't punched through the center block yet. We're still in that channel, so pay attention. Bitcoin will certainly have some big moves, but I think the belle of the ball for a little while is going to be Litecoin. So looking over at Litecoin, we had this whole position here, and I traded this for 6.25%. I didn't know that it was going to dip as low as 75. That's awesome. We actually had a few chances to grab positions there, but I did just lock in profits personally, 6.25% here. I'm expecting it to pull back. Litecoin typically does this thing where it whips, right? It goes up, catches a big price wick. We kind of saw it here, and then it snaps back down. And so if you look at like longer term, this doesn't look like even a flash in the pan. Like if we go to a day view and you really get out there, you're like, bro, like that isn't even nothing. I know, dude. That's the point. That's how much upside there is right now. Like right here, that's where that little 6.5% trade was, and we have all of this history, day view wise, that we've hit. Like Litecoin at right around May 2021, it hit like $400. And so like I want us to pay attention, because we're going through a halving, and that's what these orange and yellow lines represent. This orange line represents the actual halving on August 2nd. The yellow represents the historical price peak prior to the rally, or I'm sorry, prior to the halving. So this is where the peak of the rally has been prior to the halving. And so if you look at this, like our prices aren't even like really on this chart much. Like we can go way higher than this. And so I want you to pay attention to Litecoin because we have this buying opportunity right here, and it might not, it might break history, but I don't think it will. I think halvings are one of those things that are pretty programmed in. So I'm expecting Litecoin to really shoot up between now and the first and second week of June. So pay attention whenever it does pull back. Don't be afraid to pick up a bag if you're interested in playing along. Not financial advice, but I'm looking at historical precedent and giving you that information. So don't say I didn't tell you. And then looking over at Matic, that's the other altcoin I want you to kind of pay attention to. Because altcoin, Matic is an altcoin that was made to unblock Ethereum. Ethereum's still kind of having the same issues where transaction fees are higher than they'd like to see them. They're slower than they'd like to see them. And Matic is meant to kind of unblock them more so as a side chain. But if we look at like the 1 day view on Matic, and I make it look like crap, you can see we're starting to get into this channel. Anything honestly under like 87 cents, I'm seeing personally as a pickup, because over here when we had this first rally, we had this, I'll show you it. Yeah, we had this little peak we rested at right here. That kind of set the floor, right? It's pretty hard to punch below 68 cents and 95 cents. Like that's kind of a channel we're riding in now. So just pay attention to that. Anytime you're in that range right here, it really is a good entry position historically. So personally, that's kind of how I'm playing it. I see a lot of upside on Matic, and I don't want you to be uninformed, right? So that is our price action for the day. Pay attention to Litecoin. That's kind of my hint. The other thing I want to say is Litecoin and Dogecoin are kind of tight at the hip, right? So like Litecoin and Dogecoin are both on the script algorithm, okay? And so because they're both on the script algorithm, some people with Litecoin ASICs are also mining Dogecoin. They have big bags of Dogecoin. That's kind of flipped where people are focused. They're buying, these script ASICs just to mine Dogecoin. They happen to also be mining Litecoin too. So what I want you to pay attention to is that because those two are cryptographically and, from a proof of work standpoint, really tightly coupled, they likely will be when it comes to big bull runs too. And so this specific story here is fascinating. Litecoin is on a bullish run after the Lightning Network integration. So Litecoin has had a series of upgrades recently, including Lightning Network, which allows for microtransactions, and it has a ordinals protocol as well. So now you can have NFTs on, Dogecoin did. Dogecoin had ordinals put on it. So now Dogecoin has NFTs as well as Litecoin has NFTs. So pay attention to this because I think that there's a ton of upside because huge functionality just got integrated into Litecoin and Dogecoin, right? So yeah, let's look at this together, shall we? So Litecoin has been gaining some momentum since the start of the year, with a focus on its next halving event, which is a few months away. Hint, hint. Litecoin is seeing a parabolic run through its price today as the protocol has unveiled a major milestone underpinning the network. As reported by several media today, Litecoin has also integrated the Lightning Network as it looks to leverage the ultimate scaling solution that has helped Bitcoin Network beat its congestion woes in recent times. So the revelation of the Lightning Network integration has pushed the price of the protocol up by more than 7% in early Monday, trading to push the spot valuation of $87.11 per coin. With the price run, LTC has now pared off its losses for the trailing 7-day period, coming off as one of the highest gainers with 6.55% within that time frame. So, that's why I locked those profits in, right? Just context. So, as revealed by the Litecoin protocol, the integration of Lightning Network has largely helped push its scalability by 100%. What this implies is that transactions conducted on Litecoin, which are naturally relatively faster than that of BTC, can now be completed 10 times as fast and also cheaper. So, there's been this like conversation in crypto regarding adoption for a while now. That's like, well, yeah, but would you use it to buy like coffee? At like a coffee shop? I mean, with Lightning Network, yeah, I freaking would. This is better than Venmo. What do you mean? So that's why this is a big deal. This like legitimately marks a milestone in usability, right? So the Lightning Network is a layer 2 scaling solution that is built on the Bitcoin blockchain. The development of Litecoin is not just a testament to its versatility, it also depicts the flexibility of the Litecoin protocol to adopt innovations relevant to its growth. The Litecoin adoption of Lightning Network is particularly very beneficial to the crypto project, seeing it serves primarily as a payment digital currency, right? So Litecoin in the first place was meant to be highly transactional, and so the fact that it now has Lightning, the Lightning Network, it's now a first class payment method. So like this is actually a big deal. Litecoin's emergence and usage thus far have been confined to its use as a payment method. Despite the relative growth of competition today, cryptocurrency has maintained its relevance and is tagged as one of the 4 digital assets that is supported on the legacy fintech platforms like PayPal Holdings, right? So PayPal supports Litecoin and steady innovation integration. The broader digital currency ecosystem is evolving at a very fast pace, and legacy layer 1 protocols are now doing all they can to broaden their influence across the board. Litecoin is not an exception in this regard, as the protocol's innovation is now tilting towards the growth of the ordinals inscriptions, as well as the introduction of LTC20 tokens, an experimental standard for non-fungible tokens on the network. So, are you hearing this? Litecoin has NFT support now. Litecoin has Lightning Network integrated, and Litecoin was a good transactional cryptocurrency to begin with. So the use case for Litecoin is actually like low key sleeper, right? Like it's got legitimate big business adoption already, like PayPal. It has solid NFT support now. It hasn't gone down. We know it's a secure network. So please, like, just look at the technicals when you're looking at a cryptocurrency. Don't look at the hype around it. Look at the technicals. The technicals say that this thing has a lot going for it, even though the price action hasn't been particularly interesting, right? So what's up, JV? Good morning. Appreciate you, brother. Litecoin has also been gaining some momentum since the start of the year, with a focus on its halving event, which is a few months away. While the halving is known to historically boost price growth as it subtly introduces deflation into the tokens, experts believe the price of LTC will respond positively to these fundamentals in the days leading up to the halving. So, dude, I'm so hype about this. Like, we have this news drop just before our halving. Like, we're basically getting like, hey, heads up, this price is probably gonna have a freaking rager, like, okay, cool, maybe I'll pick some up and just kind of hold it and wait for these key events that I know on the map are going to take place. So that's how I'm looking at this. As a layer 1 protocol, Litecoin is notably going out of its comfort zone to bring additional benefits to its users across the board, and Lightning Network integration is major in this light. So what do you think about this Litecoin NFT support, this Litecoin Lightning Network support, this Litecoin halving coming up? Like, that's kind of a lot going on. I mean, Keith Bloch saying, "What's up, not the market? What's up, brother?" I'd argue that Litecoin's been up 6.25%, right? Because of this news and the halvings coming up, people are kind of bullish on any positive news. So it's not all downside. Bankrupt crypto lender Celsius. Ugh, poor Celsius, man. They transferred $75 million worth of ETH to staking service Figment. So let's check this out, man. Yeah, what's up, Boston? I see you, brother. Good morning. So yeah, I haven't been back to LTC since the last run up. I mean, we're about to go through a halving. August 2nd is going to be a halving. So I'm expecting first, second week of June to be a big old price move on Litecoin, because we have ordinals on the blockchain. We have the Lightning Network integration. We have the halving coming up. So pay attention. You might like what you see. The maneuver represents one of the largest transfers of funds for Celsius Network since it filed for bankruptcy protections in July. So yeah, let's check this out. So cryptocurrency lender Celsius Network. I mean, what the hell is this word, dude? Get out of here with that. Staked some staked some $75 or 75 million of ETH last week via Figment, an institutional grade staking service. Yeah, let's be careful with that. Blockchain data shows. According to data by crypto intelligence firm Arkham Intelligence, Celsius transferred some 40,000, almost 41,000 ETH to a crypto wallet spread through 14 transactions between May 10th and May 12th. The account is owned by Figment, who deposited the funds into staking contracts, according to the Ethereum blockchain explorer Etherscan. The transfer represents one of the largest movements of funds for the crypto lender since it filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protections in July. Yeah, man. Okay, so I'm confused. You're filing for bankruptcy and you're moving ETH around. Let's keep reading. Celsius was one of the crypto firms that became insolvent after the sudden implosion of blockchain project Terra and the subsequent meltdown of crypto markets a year ago, forcing the company to freeze user withdrawals as part of the restructuring process. The bankruptcy court is holding an auction to sell the firm and its assets to interested investors, including digital asset investment firm Nova Wolf and private equity giant Apollo Global Management. Okay, so they're moving this ETH around, it looks like, to basically pay off their debts. Depositing to a staking service allows Celsius to earn rewards on its digital asset holdings during the restructuring efforts. That makes sense. Yeah, that's cool. Figment offers an average 5.6% annualized staking reward, according to its website. Celsius move comes as a surprise because it also operates one of the largest ETH staking pools and some $290 million of assets under management. The interesting part is that they decided to stake with Figment instead of their own staking pool. Yeah, what's up with that? Tom Wan, analyst at digital asset investment products firm 21 Shares, said in a note. So that's kind of fishy, dude. You got your own staking pool and you're like, nah, we're not going to stake in our own pool where we control what we get. We're going to dip into somebody else's. I'm like, okay. But I guess that does make sense if their goal is to try to get a bigger cut and maybe they're not as good of a deal and some people are too lazy to move their money or they can't because it's locked in. That could be it too. What's up, Ann? I see you, girl. Tamp in the house. Celsius's move comes as a surprise because it also operates one of the largest ETH staking pools. So it's got one of the biggest pools. They're not staking to their own pool. They're staking to someone else's pool. It's weird. Yeah. Ann says Figment's legit too. I use them for proof of stake. They are legit, but I'm wondering why Celsius isn't using their own pool. They're using Figment's pool, even though they're going through bankruptcy. The interesting part is that they decided to stake with Figment instead of their own staking pool. The last deposit into the lender's own staking pool happened in April last year. Oh, so it's cold. I see. According to Arkham blockchain data, well before the withdrawal freeze and bankruptcy filing, Celsius also holds some 750 million worth of Lido Finance's liquid staking derivatives token ST ETH earning rewards. So I don't know, man. Just stay away from Celsius is my deal. If you can't get your money out of there, don't play games with that. Looks like they're being hot dogs about it. So, although Figment, like Ann was saying, has a good reputation. So, right on. Let's check this out. Daily Dogecoin transactions briefly beat Bitcoin after DRC20 tokens bark. So I know the memes, the dorky innuendos and whatnot. I get it, but do you hear this? So the Bitcoin ordinals gave NFT inscription abilities to Bitcoin. Litecoin then grabbed the LTC20, and after that, Dogecoin grabbed DRC20. So here's why this is good. Now we are going to be able to put meme coins on the Dogecoin network. So we're going to be able to throw meme NFTs on Dogecoin's back. And that's good because Dogecoin's wicked fast and also is great for things that aren't meant to be taken serious, but are meant to be pump and dump. And that way we don't get pump and dump, reputations kind of put on Bitcoin. I think that's probably a good move, but even still, Pepe coins on BRC20. So who knows? Let's take a look at this. So recent trends show that Dogecoin transaction volume is outpacing established cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Litecoin in terms of transaction volume. Throughout much of May, the Bitcoin network has been bogged down with the transactions of BRC20 tokens. This novel standard, or token standard, allows users to inscribe and transact text, audio, images, and even video on a single Satoshi, the smallest unit of Bitcoin. Kind of. What this is saying is that you can throw like the NFT for like the IPFS address for this type of content. You're not actually storing like video files on Bitcoin for the record. So, yeah, I don't know how Mashinsky's still walking around and not arrested. He must be paying someone off. Yeah, man, there's some stuff going on. Mashister. So this frenzy has now spread to the Dogecoin network with its DRC20 tokens. Dogecoin's transactions blast off. So the Dogecoin developer, Inevitable 360 No Scope 420 Blaze It, took to Twitter to point out the meme coin's peak around 628,000 transactions. This was compared to Bitcoin's 575,000 transactions on May 13th. So this is cool, man. We're seeing low key. What's happening here is you're seeing the TPS really proven. The transactions per second you're seeing proven out on these different networks using memes. I love that. Like, hey, how do we get these transactions to go up? I don't know. Let's find some other utility and we'll manufacture volume just to prove transaction per second can be handled. Great idea. And that's exactly what's happened. So we finally have some answers on like some of the technicals that software developers and businesses are looking at. Like, what's the TPS though? Like, really, how many transactions per second can this sucker handle? And now we know. Commenters estimate that the increased minting of DRC20 tokens was behind the rise in activity. You think? The community has marketed DRC20 tokens as a BTC20 offshoot with comparable features. That's not an offshoot, dude. That's just refactoring code that's related, and you should, because it works. Following the introduction of BRC20 token standard, Bitcoin ordinals and inscriptions filled up the mempool, causing transaction fees to skyrocket and sluggish transaction times. B in Crypto previously revealed that members of the Litecoin community were working on implementing an LTC20 standard on its own blockchain as well. Every SHIB, a single Doge unit, is serially numbered. These numbers are termed cardinal numbers or cardinals. Like Bitcoin's BRC20, Dogecoin will be able to leverage cardinal theory to promote fungibility according to Doge Labs. The standard would also address node operators' difficulties with indexers. SHIBs would get a distinctive identity, which would also eliminate block reward randomness. So what should Doge focus on? According to another Twitter user, Dogecoin holdings have become concentrated. This means a small number of wallets with large holdings could be processing many transactions. Nevertheless, Dogecoin is advancing and DRC20 tokens are anticipated to support its widespread use. Doge influencer SKR402 noted that Doge should now focus on its use case of people's currency as its motivation to scale. That's cool. I'm with that. The commentator noted everyone should probably focus on the transactional currency use case. At least it's a good test of its network's ability to scale. Despite the increased activity, Dogecoin's price has remained stagnant, much like the rest of the market for meme coins. According to CoinGecko data, the daily price range of Dogecoins between 7.1 cents and 7.3 cents with a trading volume of over 271 million. So, how should you be looking at this whole Dogecoin situation? I expect Dogecoin to react positively to Litecoin's price action. I expect Litecoin to have price action affected by its halving coming up on August 2nd. Its ordinals LTC20 functionality, and the fact that it's on, PayPal, and the fact that it now has Lightning Network integrated. All those things create a very bullish use case for Litecoin and Dogecoin. So don't sleep on it. Pay attention, right? Dogecoin made minimal gains on May 15th, but has lost more than 2% over the past week and about 18% over the past month. Additionally, Dogecoin is still 90% away from its all-time high price of 73 cents, which it reached in 2021. I think the mistake here is we're looking at Dogecoin over USD or over USDT. Dogecoin historically has been over BTC, so I recommend when you're looking at charts, don't forget about the Dogecoin over BTC charts, because that's where all the historical supports and resistances are at. So, but if you're new to the space, you don't know that because you've just traded USD and Dogecoin. According to Into the Block, 49% of Dogecoin holders are in the money at the current price levels. 3% of investors are breaking even, while 48% are at a loss. And that's why, like, when you enter these types of positions, you just DCA, dude. You don't freaking grab a huge bag and just wish on it. Like with especially with altcoins, you want to kind of step down with it and be able to ride back up. Woohoo! So interesting stuff happening in our space right now. Like it's rad to see like legitimate programming going in that's affecting functionality with proof of work. We've been talking about proof of stake so much that I think people have kind of forgotten proof of work is still a big deal. So let's look at this. Ethereum Beacon Chain's Finality issues led to 253 missed blocks in 2 days. So that's kind of why a lot of people are spazzing on ETH. Like we are seeing some technical issues like this, right? Let's read this here. So the Beacon chain, which serves as the consensus layer for the Ethereum network, experienced technical issues on 2 separate occasions last week, causing it to stop finalizing blocks. While blocks were being proposed, they were not being validated during a 25-minute window. The 2 incidents were recorded on May 11th and 12th when more than 60% of validators stopped performing their duties, thereby causing a loss in Finality. So, according to Glassnode, Finality essentially refers to the state where a supermajority of validators, 2/3 of the total stake, have attested to the final state of the blockchain, guaranteeing the block and its processed transactions cannot be modified or eliminated from the blockchain. The Beacon's chain's performance degraded last week as nearly 60% of validators were offline. Ugh, ouch. And absent from carrying out their consensus responsibilities. So over a majority of validators were offline and absent from handling consensus. That hurts, dude. The analytic firm noted that around 3.68% of daily slots were missed and 253 blocks were not proposed on time. This remains substantially lower than 658 blocks missed across the Chapella upgrade. Glassnode further observed that some consensus layer clients encountered older attestations and were forced to load up older states for verification while trying to handle new incoming transactions simultaneously. This subsequently caused these systems to overheat and malfunction. Not all clients were affected due to a difference in design approach. As a result, the validators running these were able to process transactions and produce blocks. The affected validators in both cases, however, came back online within 20 minutes and an hour, respectively. The participants' rate readily climbed back to over 98%. Still, man, you had like over 50% of your network getting hit with like not even participating in consensus. Like, I don't know. That feels like a loophole exploit to me. During the 2 losses in Finality, no end users on Ethereum mainnet were impacted and were able to transact on the network owing to client diversity. But the second one resulted in the first ever inactivity leak, which is an emergency state utilized to recover finality on the beacon chain. In such a case, the activity validators are penalized until they are diluted out of the chain or start participating. So, oh man, that's heavy. That's crazy. So, in response to the issue, the developers of the Ethereum core released patches for Prism Labs and Teku clients. In a statement, an Ethereum consultant said the issues with Finality appear to have been caused by a high load on some of the consensus layer clients, which in turn was caused by an exceptional scenario. The two clients released upgrades that implement optimizations to ward off nodes from consuming excessive resources. The Finality issues follow increased activity in staking rewards rates on Ethereum due to the meme coin resurgence that triggered a massive jump in gas consumption on the network, with fees hitting a 12-month high. So, what does this mean for Ethereum? Well, it means that even though their last upgrade was smooth, the newest one was not smooth, and this beacon chain needs some work and is, in my opinion, not very secure and shouldn't be part of production just yet. 60% of validators stopped performing their duties for like an hour and a half. So I don't know, man. I don't like that. And so when that happened, here's how the price reacted. So Ethereum's price reacted to 53,400 ETH shifted to Coinbase. This also happened at the same time, right? So Wu Blockchain reports the top crypto exchange Coinbase has seen 53,400 ETH inflowing, citing crypto quant data. So you think these people are moving their ETH to Coinbase just so they could sell it off? Because that's what I'm feeling like. I know a lot of people were using Ethereum not for smart contracts, but for NFTs. And now that we have proof of work, blockchains that support NFTs, I don't know, maybe Ethereum stops seeing so many NFTs and we see sort of some space relieved on Ethereum. So the quantity of coins transferred to exchange wallets is known as exchange inflow. Given that moving coins incurs fees, there are three potential reasons why wallets outside of exchanges send their assets there. One, investors are most likely sending their coins to sell if there is inflow to the spot exchange. And you can kind of read that, right? This kind of action typically results in a price decline, which is a negative sign, right? So according to crypto, I clicked on it. Why do I do that? According to Crypto Quant, Coinbase had more than 53,400 ETH inflow today, of which 44,000 ETH were transferred from Coinbase CB ETH deposit address to Coinbase 10, which may be due to the cancellation of the ETH staking. Cancellation of ETH staking. I don't think that's it. Let's keep reading. The second motive is to trade on the volatile derivatives market. Finally, investors occasionally send their assets to exchanges for staking, airdropping, or just reshuffling purposes. There's not much to conclude about pricing or volatility in this situation. This reason for action is often interpreted as neutral. Kind of. Despite all these reasons, a large chunk of the move was related to an internal wallet shift by Coinbase, so the impact of the ETH price was neutral. Wu reports that 44,000 ETH were transferred between Coinbase wallets, which may be due to the cancellation of ETH staking. And that's ETH staking on Coinbase. That's not ETH staking on ETH, right? ETH still allows you to stake 32 ETH if you like to lock your money up that way. At the time of writing, Ethereum was up 1.44% in the last 24 hours to $1,829. On-chain analytics firm Santiment observes a level of disinterest in the market as prices stagnate. Yeah, I think people are tired of hearing about Ethereum, man. I think we're ready for some PP. We're watching that Pepe coin. With Bitcoin at $27,400 and Ethereum at $1,825, traders continue to sour at the fact that markets have been stagnant. Stablecoins are seeing major social volumes uptick. typically indicative of disinterest in the markets. Meanwhile, Ethereum staking recently set up a new all-time high as the staking contract saw over 19.3 million ETH staked. So let's look at this. So Ethereum has a few things going on right now. One, it had a bunch of upgrades. Okay. So the fact that Ethereum had a bunch of upgrades, people were kind of bullish on that. We had, the first upgrade go through smoothly, to proof of stake. And then after that proof of stake cut, we then saw another big upgrade, which allowed people to unstake or rather to move their like staking rewards, right? You still can't move to my knowledge, I could be wrong on this. You still can't move your 32 ETH that is staked, but you can move any of the cream on top of that 32 ETH. So on top of that, people are primarily using Ethereum because it has smart contract functionality and it has NFT support. Well, now that Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin all have NFT support, my guess is Ethereum's going to have less allure for NFT support. It'll be more so NFTs and smart contracts that people are using both. But for just NFTs, Ethereum's kind of a trash solution. It's slow, it's expensive, it's not as secure as a proof of work might be. So why use it? Rob T in the house. What's up, brother? Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're stoked about all these upgrades we're seeing on our proof of work coins. So let's look at some other news here. So the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe defies IMF's warnings and sells 39 million worth of gold-backed digital tokens. Oh, this is juicy. So the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has damned any potential consequences by selling 14 billion Zimbabwe dollars, which is 39 million US dollars worth of gold-backed digital tokens. That is despite an earlier warning it received from the International Monetary Fund not to go ahead with the plans. They're like, dude, we are a sovereign nation. You can kick rocks. I'm going to do what I want to do. At the time, the international body cautioned about the potential risks of the plan, suggesting that Zimbabwe would be better off liberalizing its foreign exchange market. As of May 12th, the Apex Bank of Zimbabwe confirmed that it received 135 applications for the gold-backed cryptocurrency. The Friday announcement also noted that cumulatively, it made a total of 14.07 billion Zimbabwean dollars from the sale. Recall that Zimbabwe first introduced the crypto tokens last month, noting that they're backed by 139 kilograms of gold, and then kicked off the sale on May 8th and allowed it to run through May 12th. And while it sold the tokens at a minimum price of $10 for individuals, corporate entities bought them for $5,000. Interesting. As it turns out, Zimbabwe is currently planning another sale round for the digital tokens. According to the central bank, interested buyers may submit their applications between now and May 18th. Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe aims to use gold-backed tokens to improve their economy. So check this out. Like most countries around the world, Zimbabwe is currently facing a turbulent time in its economy. More so, its local currency has been consistently falling against the US dollar. Hence, the reason it seeks to use gold-backed crypto tokens is to salvage the country's economic situation. Man, if I was in the government of Zimbabwe, like I'd probably be making the same decision. Like, dude, there's this country that's doing fast and loose monetary policy and it's affecting us. We have to protect our people and lock this down by something that's actually backed by something tangible and both cryptocurrency, consensus and gold. So that's really, really awesome. According to a local news report from Herald, Governor Dr. John Mangudia, I think I said that right, says the gold-backed digital tokens provide Zimbabwe with more options to preserve value. Mangudia, I want to say his name right, also claims the tokens will enhance divisibility of the investment instruments and widened their access and usage by the public. For what it's worth, it appears that Zimbabwe has carried out due diligence, as earlier suggested by the IMF. That is, the African nation seems to have determined that the benefits of its gold-backed token plan outweigh the cost and potential risks. So this is super cool, though, that they're taking gold, which is a hard asset more so than like, the US dollar is, and then they're making a proper cryptocurrency that has a 1-to-1 ratio, and people are able to transact that. So you're not able to do any funny business on the ledger. The ledger is actually backed by a hard gold asset, which has both function and electrical conductivity, and jewelry and all of that reason it's used for money. So gold does have some utility, for the record. And here's our headline article for the day. Binance announces an exit from Canada. So let's see why. So Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume, has announced its exit from Canada. The crypto platform revealed its move on Friday, noting that the decision was down to a new guideline that make the Canadian market no longer tenable for its operations. We had high hopes for the rest of the Canadian blockchain industry. And I'm going to make this go away. See you later. Bye-bye. No longer tenable for its operations. So we had high hopes for the rest of the Canadian blockchain industry. Unfortunately, new guidance related to stablecoins and investor limits provided to cryptocurrency exchanges make the Canadian market no longer tenable for Binance at this time, the exchange said in a tweeted statement. And so, just for the record here, here's Binance on that exact matter. So unfortunately today, we are announcing that Binance will be joining other prominent crypto businesses and proactively withdrawing from the Canadian marketplace. We would like to thank those regulators who worked with us collaboratively to address the needs of Canadian users. Albeit a small market, it held sentimental value for us as the home country of our founder. We had high hopes for the rest of the Canadian blockchain industry. Unfortunately, new guidance related to stablecoins and investor limits provided the crypto exchanges makes the Canadian market no longer tenable for Binance at this time. We put off this decision as long as we could to explore other reasonable avenues to protect our Canadian users, but it has become apparent that there are none. Dude, that's what bad law will do. And that's why we're afraid of like bad law in the United States, and why we're so crappy about it, because like this is the outcome of that. Big businesses like Binance, who are supporting major crypto adoption, are just going to leave because it doesn't make sense for their business. And Ann Tamporello saying Binance feels that it is a little abusive to make conditions of their pre-registration be a disgorgement of all revenue earned from Ontario residents in history, as would be any sane business. Yeah, dude, absolutely. So check this out. Our remaining Canadian users are receiving an email with comprehensive information on how this will impact their accounts going forward. While we do not agree with the new guidance, we hope to continue to engage with Canadian regulators aimed at a thoughtful, comprehensive regulatory framework. We are confident that we will someday return to the market when Canadian users once again have the freedom to access a broader suite of digital assets. So, dude, this is sad. This is straight up sad, because Canada is just being squished by bad, overreaching authoritarian policy. That's all this is on the flat. Yeah, Canada is on one here, really silly. Yep. This is stupid. This, like, Trudeau should be ashamed of himself. Blame Canada. That's funny. I appreciate that. So, man, this hurts my heart, because I know some solid crypto folks in Canada. Yeah, and the US is not far behind. And this is a shot across the bow for us, that we got to really support politicians who are very focused on like freedom and liberty, right? Like any politician who's trying to get more and more government intervention needs to be, told to buzz off. So we had high hopes for the rest of the Canadian blockchain industry. Unfortunately, the new guidance related to stable coins and investor limits provided to crypto exchanges makes the Canadian market no longer tenable for Binance at this time, the exchange said in a tweeted statement. So the Canadian exchange giant said it had put off this decision as long as it could to explore other reasonable avenues to protect its Canadian users. However, it's joining other platforms to withdraw from the market after the latest regulatory move. So while we do not agree with the new guidance, we hope to continue to engage with the Canadian regulators aimed at a thoughtful, comprehensive regulatory framework. Dude, they're trying to play ball. So let's keep reading this. Binance is a major crypto industry player that has sought regulatory approval in most of the jurisdictions that it offers its services. It has also been one of the main advocates of more regulatory clarity across the globe. But its decision to exit Canada comes a few months after the Canadian Securities Administrators, the CSA, outlined new guidance regarding stablecoins. The February communication had asked crypto trading platforms operating in the country to seek approval before allowing customers to use stablecoins on their platform. This included buying or depositing stablecoins, a requirement that meant further due diligence checks for exchanges amid the tightening regulatory scrutiny. So, like, they're even tripping on stablecoins. Stablecoins shouldn't be tripped on. Like, that's not even a security. It's not back. Like, I don't know. I can't even really react to that. It's too stupid. It's too freaking stupid. So hopefully this doesn't happen. That's why we're covering these topics so often. We want you to be informed. Make sure you're voting to let your voice be heard. Make sure you're letting your congressmen, senators know that you are pro crypto and that it's important for your businesses and important for your family's stability, that, we have good policy on this stuff, man. Our next article, more than 700 U.S. banks facing significant safety and soundness risks due to massive unrealized losses. Ouch. So this isn't meant to be doom and gloom. This is meant to show you that, like, Bitcoin exists to be something that you can run to when these types of occasions occur. And if these types of occasions are occurring, maybe we should be paying attention to Bitcoin. That's all I'm saying. Newly released data from the Federal Reserve shows more than 700 American banks are facing significant safety and soundness risks due to massive unrealized losses on their balance sheets. According to the Fed, more than 700 banks have self-reported unrealized losses that exceed 50% of their capital. That's bad, dude. But we had the economy largely shut down for 2 years. So, I mean, I'm sure that's part of it. And I know a lot of people were just living on credit cards during that time because and off of checks they got from the government, from that government. So the report, which was recently released on the Federal Reserve's website and includes self-reported data compiled in February, says banks have been taking steps to try and avoid losses or further losses for months. Those steps include changing the account treatment of the securities, hedging interest rate risks, and retaining more tangible capital. The Fed points to its own interest rate risks as the catalyst for the losses. Interesting. Banks with large unrealized losses face significant safety and soundness risks. Securities have traditionally been used for liquidity purposes. Today, the level of unrealized losses are causing some banks to face tough choices. The rising interest rate environment is increasing financial risks for many banks. We are concerned with banks that have investment portfolios that with large unrealized loss positions. As rates rise, investment portfolios, which have traditionally been a source of liquidity, will be further limited. Higher than anticipated deposit outflows and limited availability contingency funding may cause banks to make difficult choices, including reliance on higher cost wholesale funding or curtail lending. That's not good. This is like a roller coaster. This is where you're like tick 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 tick, ah! Into the hole. The Fed says its analysis is based on data that was compiled by the third quarter of 2022. So good for banks, bad for banks. I think this just makes banks have to take more practical monetary policies. Like I think banks stretch themselves too far trying to be as profitable as they could, but they were doing fractional lending. They were stretching themselves wider than they could. They were giving out loans to people who probably didn't have reason to be able to pay it back. So yeah, I think people should pump the brakes on spending, man. Like it's okay to chill with spending and tighten your belt up a little bit and get your financial health right before uh, something bad happens, right? That's all good. So let's take a look at this here. Ethereum developers release patches for the recent beacon chain finality issues. So, that ETH story we talked about earlier, they're patching those issues. So, Ethereum developers have released software updates to resolve recent finality issues that hit Ethereum's blockchain and restore stability to the network. The patches have been released for Ethereum clients Prism and Teku, allowing them to update their systems. The beacon chain experienced finality issues on Thursday and Friday, although end users on Ethereum did not face any transactional issues. This was made possible due to client diversity, as not all client implementations were affected by this exceptional scenario. After all clients caught up, the network finalized again, the Ethereum Foundation said in a blog post that was shared by superfizz.eth, a self-proclaimed Ethereum beacon chain community health consultant. What a name. The Ethereum Foundation said the full cause of the finality issue is still being investigated, which is fine. That's honest. But this appears to have been caused by a high load on some of the consensus layer clients, which in turn was caused by an exceptional scenario. So they didn't have any reason on paper to think that this would happen. This was like a, if this and this happens, then this is possible kind of situation. So Arnold Toe, a research and analyst at the block, said the timely response from the Ethereum community is certainly a good sign for the blockchain's development moving forward. That's true. If a blockchain community is quick to patch things, it means they're competent enough to solve problems on the spot. So that is good. At the same time, the finality issues are a stark reminder that the Ethereum beacon chain remains a work in progress. So beacon chain, even though it's in production, is still in the oven. It's still cooking, even though it smells like food. Ethereum's beacon chain finality issue. So Ethereum's beacon chain briefly lost finality twice this week. The first occurrence caused the network to stop finalizing blocks around 25 minutes. And the second outage lasted over an hour. Now that the patches have been released for Prism and Teku, we can start putting this loss of finality issues behind us, is what they say. This is one step on our diversity and decentralization journey. Let's learn from it and move forward with greater purpose. As long as it doesn't keep happening all the time and make it so people lose their money, that's cool. That's what test nets are for, my friends. That's what test nets are for. But what do I know? So here's our last story for the day. I want us to pay attention to what's happening here. U.S. Chamber of Commerce lines up in support of Coinbase. How cool is that? So this is the power to the people I'm talking about, right? Like if you go to your Chamber of Commerce, you have a voice. You could step up to a podium and be heard amid exchanges push for regulatory clarity from the SEC. So let's read this. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is supporting Coinbase's efforts to secure regulatory guidance on crypto assets from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The top U.S. exchange filed a motion in court in April to compel the SEC to respond to an early petition from the company requesting guidance for the digital asset industry. Coinbase first submitted the petition for rulemaking last July, but has yet to hear a yes or no answer to the request. This week, the Chamber of Commerce submitted a legal document known as the amicus brief outlining its support of Coinbase's petition. The Chamber says the SEC's regulatory approach to crypto has subverted the basic tenets of due process. Thank you. Administrative law and good governance. Put that on a t-shirt, dude. The SEC's regulatory approach to crypto has subverted the basic tenets of due process, administrative law, and good governance. So well worded. As it stands today, nobody knows for certain which digital assets, if any, are securities under federal law. That is no small question. It has immense implications for every person involved in the $1 trillion digital asset economy. And it is the threshold regulatory question from which all others flow. And we know that. That's why we're constantly waiting for an answer. But remarkably, the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, despite proclaiming itself the primary regulator of digital assets, has refused to resolve this threshold question. The commission has instead offered a series of one-off enforcement actions supplemented by public speeches and other statements that one commissioner broadly described as confusing, unhelpful, and inconsistent. And it has refused to engage in any rulemaking or other systematic process to explain what its claim authority means. In March, the SEC sent a Wells notice to Coinbase, which said that they had made preliminary determination to recommend filing an enforcement action against the crypto exchange for allegedly violating securities laws. Woo! Woo! Isn't the response from SEC to Coinbase due by now? Yeah, TikTok, right? No kidding. Like, today, Junior. And still nothing. So I think it's dope that the Chamber of Commerce is getting involved, because I mean, really, that's what this is. This is like pushing legitimate monetary streams away from the United States. So I think we should push back, and push back hard and loud, just like your mother likes it, Trebek. I shouldn't say that. Alex Trebek, what are you going to do? So that is our show today for Crypto and Coffee. Thank you so much for joining me here on Decentralized TV. I'm the Data Lord. We'll be back on Wednesday and Friday with Jaime. And until next time, keep coming huddle on. For a little while, we're just going to dance. We're just going to hang out. We're just going to do a little dancing, Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't. Maybe we will. We will. How about Blastoise, by the way? Woo! By the way, did you know that Bitcoin does not actually look like this? It's not a real Bitcoin. This is just a coin. People show this all the time, but Bitcoin actually looks like data. It's just data. See you.